So shall we move on now to our last? And I know we will not be disappointed with a title like this, Paradise Found. Andrea, you're here with us. Where are you? There you are. Wonderful. And the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Dear honorable guests of this important conference, thank you so much that I'm invited, and I'm delighted to be here today. Hasn't it all, my screen comes? It's a little bit no. Yes. I have the theme Paradise Found. I think it's too much for one person. I can't found it. But I want to show you some things, some thinkings we are doing here in Germany together with all architects. Hasn't it always been the dream of mankind to be one with nature? Or on closer inspection, the interpretation of the creation story actually means subdue the earth, not exploit it. I do understand that in this mandate is to take care of the world, to cultivate it, to preserve it. Like a good shepherd, mankind should bear responsibility for the creation, the fertilization, and care of the earth on the subjection of nature. And Pope Francis said, the climate is a common good of everyone for everyone. It's a complicated system on a global scale associated with many essential conditions for human life. The climate is indeed a common good, belonging to all and meant for all. It's a global level, it's a complex system linked to many of the essential conditions for human life. However, this inconvenient truth is basically known since long. Since the Club of Rome, we recommend it. We know that our view of the landscape as poor capital whose resources can be freely exploited is reaching limits and threatens our very existence on Earth. Here you see the emissions we from the construction sector are doing. We have here 38%, but when we are true, many parts of the transport also are there. So I think the 40% for the building environment is not the right thing. And here you see how we are building. We know everything about it. And I'm aware that this impressive knowledge and experience here in all this room is not able to implement the needed drastic change. How can we change? I think everybody should write down what he means to this afterwards, perhaps in lunch break. And I think we only have 16 years to go on with this living we do now. And I think it's not the right thing. Yes, time is pressing. And it's so pressing that I think we have to do new systems. We have to do new appearance to all these things. And I think the traditional methods of mastering nature behind us and reconsider the primacy of technical solutions is not the way we can deal. We described all these efforts in the speeches yesterday and today, and now what will we do? I think perhaps a holistic approach is better, a holistic approach to the landscape, a holistic approach what can be. And there was a very good idea from Franz of Anhalt-Dessau, and he said, you have to look to the world as a garden. You have to look to the world as a garden, and as a garden, you see the environment, you see the plants, it smells good, and you take care of it. You take care of it every day. You have to look at it and not to destroy it. And I think what we do is this. We think that we can change the world. We can change the world, but we have to see that the climate challenge is here. The tundra burns, the floats come in, and many, many floats are coming. And here you see the industrial areas we are building. This is an industrial area nearby Munich. It's very new, it's very normal. It's nothing green. There's no green roof, there's no facade greening. We could do it in this way. We could do it as with solar panels. We can do it in a very other ways than we do it in this place. And also how we are living. We are living one, or the dream of many people is to live one by one by one. But I think it's not. We have to live common. We have to live in other buildings. We have to see how we can live. And here you see more and more space for the same number of people we are taking. Here we see 40,000 kilometers was 1990, and now we have 15,000 square kilometers for the same amount of people. So what we are thinking. And I think, first of all, when we start of planning, we have to look what we are planning and where we are planning. And for me, the best thing is to have a picture of the climate of an area. And here you see the climate of Munich, and you see how will it get on the long road on a hot day. If we have the climate change, we know the block construction will get plus 6%, the linear construction plus 5%, and the medieval cities plus 11%. If we do things like green infrastructure, with a tree, we can get it less, with 13% less, 5% less for the green roof, 10% for the green facade. So you see, perhaps this gardening of the city is one way to get it better, to do a better thing. And here's a regulatory of a tree, when you see it. This is 302 bath tubes, a little bit, and 200 refrigerators we have. If we have one tree, this tree is 80 years old. A 20-year-old is not in this way, but you see, in 100 days of CO2 consumption for a human is also for one tree. So you see, this could be the new world, the new idea. It's not new, it's very old, but we have to strengthen it. And here you see the conversation of new living in old halls. We don't have to build everything new. We can use the things we have. I say it's golden energy. It's not gray energy, it's golden energy. And if you do it in this way, I think with all this wood, we can also use some concrete, but we have to do it in a better way. We have to do it in a better way and see that open space is the basis of all things we are thinking about, and we are doing it. And how we can get there. I think when we go to a city, we have to look, what is the open space? How many open space do we have? How can we help people to stay in the city, to have a good life in the city, to have all these green spaces in the city? And we made some, for many towns, we did some studies, and we have some ideas, and in Munich it's done, also in Regensburg, and we talk to the municipality. 4 square meters per person in a distance of 250 meters or a 5-minute walking distance. 6 square meters per person in a distance of 500 meters, 10 minutes. And 7 square meters per person in a district level that can assume where you can go for recreation. So you get a grid all over the city, and in this grid there is recreation, there's also biodiversity. It's a picture from Munich of one of these things. This is cool. These are cooling areas, and these areas will help us to make the cities livable and smell very good. And here you see what the cooling is. The cooling is so much to us. So we can, with the evaporation and transpiration of the trees, it gets better. You can stay in the city. You see how you can do it. You see the strong city will be the future for us, to keep the water in the city, to keep the water and take it for everything. This is from the University of Munich, where they take their water and they want to serve it. And also in Stockholm, they do in this way. And I think we also have to think, where should we drive and with what should we drive? And we have to see our streets also at strong city types. Here in Vienna, it's a very new photo from last week, and they also do, not in the best way, but in a way, they want to keep it better. And also, if you want to keep it better, don't put the cars under the soil. Don't put the cars in the city. Just talk about it, how we can put the cars out of the city, how we can go with urban transport, how we can go with bicycles, how we can go as pedestrians, and how we can live in our homes. How we can live in our homes on the roofs, and here you see if you don't have greenery on the roof, and you see how it will be with greenery on. And you see this greenery on the roof is the fifth facade, and this fifth facade is very urgent to be built and to be build it in a better way. Also the facades. The facades can be for biodiversity, one of the best things for the biodiversity. And even it's less expensive. The operation cost of a facade with green is 1,300 euros a year, and the operation cost for a normal facade is 16,525 euros a year. You see, it's so much cheaper. And also, the last lady talked about it, urban farming in the city. I think it's one of the most important things we have to do. And let me make a small excursion about wetlands. How we are doing it with wetlands, it's really, really sad. The production of live energy goes hand in hand with the use of the country. And if you see the wetlands, they appear if you don't let them wet, if you put in some corn or something else. 1.9 gigatons per year are going on. And I think this is too dangerous for us. And we know that the wetlands can take 700 tons per year per 1 acre. It's 8 points more than a forest can do. And so I think we have to look for our wetlands. We have to look for our wetlands, what can we do and how can we do it. And now let me come to an end and tell you what I think we should do. Here I show you the legally building regulations we have done in Munich. So if you want to get a permission for building, you have to do green design and planting. You have to design the pathways, the driveways. You have to put on green roofs. Without a green roof, you don't get a permission. Without the combination of greening and photovoltaics, you don't get a permission. And if you don't green a facade, you don't get a permission. And also for the underground garage, you have to do new things, also for parking areas and for rainwater management. And I think we should come together and say, yes, we know everything. We know how we can deal it, but let us make it to laws. If we don't do it, to take it to laws, everything here is very good done, very good thought, but it perhaps, or I know, I'm in my profession since 35 years, and I was always fighting for such things that we have regulations all together. And here you see from the Biennale of Venice in 2010, it was from the US, they said, let the city go like this. And I have a last thing, and I think we also have to talk about sustainability, and we have to put ecologically first. If we don't do ecologically first, I think it's not too good for us to live here. The planet will survive without us. It's not a problem at all. But for us, I think it would be better. And because we are in the Vatican, I also have another suggestion that for every Catholic in the world, Pope Francis and the bishop will plant 1 tree in the next 2 years. So we get it better. Thank you so much.
Paradise in this esteemed spiritual home, I think that the interpretation of paradise is not always the same for everyone. So let's maybe at least indicate that our greatest redemption will be applying the very important solutions that you have brought forward to us today, including those, of course, from Dr. McRae and Dr. Yates.